Earth Agents. The Earth Agents program was developed by Roger Williams Park Zoo in Providence, Rhode Island, and it is a grassroots movement to help our communities aid in saving the planet.
Our family decided to join because we know that conservation is best learned in action, and that this would be a great program for our family to do together and learn together.
I love being an Earth Agent because there's a lot of information on what we're doing wrong to our planet, and I want to share information on how to make it right.
How about you, Elowen?
I love tears, I love other animals, and I love to know which is recycling and which is trash. And I also love the cake.
As Earth Agents, we chose our project this year to share with our community how to reduce, reuse, and recycle all the extra material that comes along with the holidays. Just like at your house, all the packaging and the shipping material, as well as the wrapping, the bows, the packaging, all of that, how to make a difference in small little ways. We start with the things arriving in our home, the packages. We break down our boxes, put them in the recycling bin. We try to recycle as much of it as we possibly can. The only thing that's actually going to landfill is that ball of tape right there. The bubble wrap envelopes like these, as well as the air plastic bags that are inside of boxes, can be recycled with plastic bags and film. Did you know that wrapping paper can be recycled? But not if you roll it up and wad it into a ball like most of us tend to do, or shove it all into a plastic bag. It doesn't have to be difficult. Wrapping paper doesn't have to be super neat. It just needs to be flat. So the kids know when they've finished opening their gifts, all they have to do is flatten out their paper and fold it up a little bit. Any pieces that are smaller than the size of an index card really should not go to recycling. That should go in your normal trash. Reusable gift bags, we all love them. They make wrapping so much easier and faster. Plus, it's an easy reuse item. But after years and years of using them, they tend to rip or get a little haggard. But that's okay. We can just snip off the handles and send them to the recycling center. No worries about little pieces of tape. But Earth Agent Willow has a great idea. She wants to reuse this bag one more time before it goes to the recycling center. So let's see what she does. She wraps and even makes a bow out of the handles.
Seen this one. Read that one. Old catalogs or magazines? Well, we can reuse them before we recycle them. It's perfect, unique wrapping paper.
If you have kids, you have lots of artwork hanging around too that you never know what to do with. Use it as wrapping paper. Grannies and grandpas love it. And think outside the box or outside the tin. Tins aren't just for cookies and goodies anymore. They make great wrapping options. Those were Beanie Boos, and off they go. Also, reuse your gift card tins and be creative with them. You can certainly just put a gift card in, or you can put in some extra surprises. Reuse packaging material one more time before recycling it. Turn that package inside out. Flatten out the paper from the inside of boxes, or reuse brown bags from the grocery store. Use some Christmas stamps or winter stamps and make your own wrapping paper. Some of the best gifts don't need any wrapping. Homemade yummy goodies, plants, and experience gifts are all things that don't require any wrapping but make wonderful gifts. Now I'd like to teach you furoshiki, which is the Japanese art of wrapping with fabric. For me, this is a much easier and faster way to wrap than even with wrapping paper. The fabric lasts longer than gift bags, and I think it looks really neat too. So here's a book. I just wrap this bandana, which cost me $1 at the dollar store. On the ends, I bring them across and tie them in a knot, then tie it again, and then I'm just gonna sort of fluff out the bow part to make it look a little bit nicer. And there, I'm done. I can use all kinds of material. So this is a white box, doesn't give away what the gift is. So I can use this sort of sheer scarf that I got at Savers. And I do exactly the same thing. I simply wrap it around, tie a knot, wrap it around, tie a knot. And in the end, you'll see I'm gonna kind of like fluff and tuck the ends in. You can play with how it looks, or just let it be simple and easy. Now I want to show you, this is a very large scarf and not a very large package, but that's okay. I don't have to do anything different. I'm just flattening out and wrapping around and around. It's important to note that the flat side of the package I line up with one of the corners. So in this case, I pulled it all the way around to the top, and then again, pick up the sides. I'm going to tie a knot. On this one, because I have so much extra fabric, I'm going to tie a bow. If you find you have any open corners, you simply fold or tuck in the fabric. Easy. No tape. Now this is a kitchen towel. I think this makes great wrapping. First of all, you get an extra kitchen towel as a gift. It could be part of your gift if you want, but this is a reused towel that we specifically use for wrapping. And just like the very first package, I line up my edge, fold over the corners, pull up the sides, and this time when I pull up the sides, I'm sort of tucking in the edges so that the fabric looks a little smoother. Tie a knot twice. And then, see there, not too smooth, no big deal. I just tuck it, smooth it out, and there you go. And it's a nice strong hold. Now I'd like to show you how to sew reusable fabric bags. What you'll need for this is a sewing machine and some thread, an iron, and some fabric, a piece of ribbon, and a safety pin. And that's all. Let's talk about sourcing. We often buy fabric after the holidays on sale or on clearance, but this stuff all came from the thrift store. The red was a tablecloth. There's kitchen towels that are $1.99 a piece. Those can either be used for wrapping or you could make a bag out of them as well. The star fabric was some homemade tablecloths. There's a lot of fabric there for $2.99. We'll be able to make lots of bags from that. And we also chose a blue flat sheet that we'll cut up and we'll make some nice soft bags as well. At Savers, we also found bags of ribbon. Now, some of the ribbon in here is not very useful for this project, but there's some really good stuff in there. And the whole bag was only $6, which is a lot cheaper than buying ribbon. We simply cut up the large pieces of fabric to make several bags. Maybe give a quick iron to the small piece that we're going to use. Now, to figure out how big a bag you want to make, you want to take the present, go about 3 inches over, wider than the package, and double the size of the package, plus another 5 or 6 inches above that. And that can help you determine if you want to make a very specifically sized bag. But for most of us, we've just got a piece of fabric and we're going to work with what we have. The first thing we're going to do is fold over 1/4 inch for our seam allowance and iron that down. And we're going to do that on the long sides. These are the sides of the bag. And we're going to do it on both sides. If you wanted to, you could fold it over again, but we didn't bother. Now on the shorter ends, which are going to be the top of our bag where the drawstring will be, we start with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then we add a good couple of inches, maybe 3 inches, fold it over again. And our drawstring later will go through that section. Turn it around, we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other end. 1/4 inch of a seam allowance, and then approximately about 3 inches for what will be the drawstring. This is going to be a smaller gift bag, but we make gift bags in all sorts of sizes. Now it's time to sew. So be sure to sew at the bottom of that big seam, because otherwise you're going to close up your drawstring tube. When you get to the end, lift your presser foot, turn, put your presser foot back down, and just keep sewing that seam down. When you get to the end, remember, don't close up the drawstring tube. Stop once you get a little bit onto the tube, and you may want to do some back stitching every now and then just to secure the stitching, but you're just going to also pick up your presser foot, turn the bag, and sew along the bottom of that drawstring tubing. As you get to the end on this side, same thing. You might back stitch. You don't really have to. And you're gonna pick up your presser foot, turn it, and sew down the last side. This is a great project for a beginning sewer or a young sewer, because they can go slow and it doesn't matter. All the seams are already pressed and makes it much easier. Again, as you get to the end, don't go all the way to the end stitching up your tubing for the drawstring. Just stitch into that tubing a little bit. Then when you're done, take it out, cut all your strings, and now you've got all the things you've pressed down are sewn down now. And you'd cut off any threads that were hanging out. And now you're going to turn it right sides together with the 2 drawstring tubings at the top, and you're going to stitch down the sides of your bag. Again, remember, don't stitch close your tubing. Start at the bottom of that wide seam and just stitch down to the bottom. Now when Willow did this, she decided to stitch each side separately, but if you were doing a very big bag, it would be easy enough and not a problem to just turn at this corner, stitch directly along the bottom, and then up the other side, so it's sort of smoother and quicker. But either way, it works the same. So now she's on the other side again, starting towards the bottom of that drawstring tubing, stitching all the way down to the end, and she'll do a little back stitch to just seal it up at the end. And that's the end of your sewing. It's that simple. When we make bags, we often will get a bunch of material, Christmas colored material, after the holidays when it's on clearance, and I'll just sew all kinds of different sized bags. Willow occasionally will sew a bag that's for a specific gift, but for the most part we just make a variety and have them around, and every year we try to add to our collection a little bit more. So now she's just turning her bag right side out. Make sure you push out the corners really well. There it is. And now it's time to put her drawstring in. So you just put a safety pin in the end of your ribbon and thread it through the drawstring tubing. The easiest way to do, you could see, is to stick your finger in like that and sort of bunch up the tubing towards your finger to get as far as you can, and then sort of reach in the other side and pull the safety pin out. Ideally, you would want to use something that's more like a grosgrain ribbon, that's sort of hardier, will last longer. You can use a fray check, which is like a liquid, to put on the tips of the ribbon to keep it from fraying long term, or you can just not worry about it. I think in this video we use pinking shears actually to cut this ribbon, but this ribbon is a lot more delicate and won't last as long, but that's okay. So then we just cut the ends, and there it is, our drawstring gift bag.
Thanks for spending some time with us today. We're the Campbell family and we are Earth Agents.
With the Roger Williams Park Zoo program, and we hope in the future you will consider becoming Earth Agent family too.
I hope you've learned at least 3 things and will put one into action immediately.
I hope you share this with your friends too.
Happy
Happy
holidays!
Happy holidays!